Well, hello, it's Debbie Gilbert here again with you from IGOT Communities, and I've been cooking from the Dr. Amy Myers Autoimmune Solution Cookbook. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and so this has been a change I've made in my life over the past 2 months, and it's been very good to me. Occasionally I still have some flare-ups with some joint aches and pains, but those usually pass. I'm learning even from this diet that I can eliminate some foods, and it helps tremendously. One of the questions I get though is, if you're on this diet and you have eliminated sugar from your diet and you have eliminated wheat products and things like that, what do you do about baking, and can you ever have treats anymore? And so the answer is yes, you can. It looks a little different, but it tastes delicious. So I'm just gonna make an, it's actually called Anne's Amazing Cinnamon Raisin Cookies. Now, I've made these once before, and when I did, the texture of the cookie dough before I rolled it up was a little bit stiffer. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more palm shortening to this recipe today to see how that goes. I don't claim to be a professional, but here's what I know. I believe in women helping women and people helping people, and so I'm just sharing my journey in hopes that you might have some of the successes that I've had through this really trial that I've had. So let's get started with this. So the first thing, I'm going to use my KitchenAid mixer here. I've already had the shortening in here. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of palm shortening, and this is just an organic vegetable shortening. It's just a really soft shortening, so I'm going to add that first. We're going to whip all this up just in a second. So add the shortening. Something you are permitted to have very moderately is pure maple syrup, and this is 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup, so we're going to add that. And we're going to add coconut sugar. So coconut sugar is made from the coconut. It's dehydrated out. It looks a little bit like brown sugar. It tastes, to me now, things taste super sweet. But when I add them, but there's a 1/4 cup of coconut sugar here that we're adding into here. And finally, we're adding 1½ teaspoons of organic pure vanilla extract. So let's get that in. And we're going to just mix this up, let it whip up actually till it gets creamy. So let's get this going. I'm going to stir these sides just a little bit. Years ago, my mom got my sisters and I all a KitchenAid mixer, and it's one of my favorite things. And I think if you're going to bake or cook, super important to have a good mixer. So I'm really thankful to my mom for that. Moms do special things, it seems like, for kids. So that's whipping up, just getting creamy, and next thing we're going to do is the next thing I'm going to do is add the dry things to this mixture. So one thing we have is 3/4 cup of arrowroot flour. Now, since you're not using wheat that has gluten in it, from time to time it seems like, because gluten's like a glue that glues your food together. But this is, it's a starch made from the arrowroot plant, and it's like a corn starch. So it works to put elasticity into your dry ingredients that you're using. So I've got 3/4 cup of arrowroot flour. Now this is called tiger nut flour. And tiger nuts are They look a little bit like a nut, almost like a hazelnut to me, but they're a root. It's a plant and it's a root. It's not a nut. And what I do, it comes in these little nut-looking shapes when I order them. But I put it in my Ninja and I make a flour. You can order a tiger nut flour, but I just beat mine up in my Ninja mixer and it works great. So I've got a 1/4 cup of that. And next, I've got a tablespoon of gelatin. And actually, I ordered this from Dr. Myers' site, but you can use any other alternative gelatin in the product. So there's a little banana nut flying around. So we've got the gelatin in. We need a teaspoon of aluminum-free baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon cream of tartar, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and these cookies taste very cinnamony. They're amazing. 1/2 teaspoon of fine sea salt, and I use the Himalayan sea salt. That's the pink salt, and it's just fine. And in a few minutes, we're going to add the raisins, but let me just kind of mix this together, and we're going to add it. My oven's ready. The oven's set at 350 degrees. You know, I've said in some of my earlier videos, this diet's been amazing for me because I've always felt like I've had tremendous cravings for food. I woke up thinking about food, went to bed thinking about food, and I love to cook, but it was just so much more than that. I just felt like I was such a slave to food, and that's a miserable way to live your life. But since I've been doing this particular diet, those cravings have left, in part because I eat a lot of protein now that's included in this diet. So I just don't get hungry like I used to get. So I'm going to spoon this in so it can mix up. Scoot my cookbook over here. And this is going to make a very stiff dough. It resembles just almost like a pie crust to me. When you're making pie crust, it's kind of crumbly and coarse, and that's the way this is. But if you need to add any additional, like a teaspoon of shortening to it, it says to do that in the recipe book. So there's absolutely no wheat, no gluten, no refined sugars in this. Everything that I'm putting in here is organic. And I try, if at all possible, to buy mostly organic foods and products that I cook with now. Trying to get away from pesticides and other kinds of additive type stuff. And gluten that you're just really unaware of. Okay, so that's mixing up. I'm going to turn this up, mix it a little faster. I'm going to sweep down the sides here just a second, so make sure it's all mixed pretty well. I absolutely love cooking and baking, and so I don't want to lose one of my favorite hobbies, but the one thing that I have learned is when you start eliminating things that you don't need, and you start trying to find other hobbies that you can enjoy. One thing that my husband and I have started doing is bicycling, and we're really excited because this weekend we're going to be going to, I think it's called Creeper Mountain, and we're in Virginia, close to Abington, and we're going to ride that trail. I had a couple friends tell me about it this week, and since we've decided to go, a lot of other friends have said they've been there and that it's a great, easy trail to ride. But it's about, I think, 13 to 15 miles, mostly downhill. You shuttle up and then you ride downhill. Okay, this is almost ready. Okay, I think I'm ready with this. So. Just a second, I'm going to wash my hands because I got to get my hands in the dough. Now, before I roll these out, I'm going to fold in the raisins and get this ready here. So I just got a 1/4 cup of raisins. Gonna fold these in. You know, with fall coming on, things with cinnamon, cookies, those things are becoming a little more, I guess we're anticipating those things with holidays just around the corner actually and coming up. So, yeah, this dough is a little better than the ones I had made earlier, so I'm really excited about that. Okay. So I have prepared my pan here with just some spray coconut oil. It's really a non-sticky pan, but the recipe, recommends that you spray the pan. So I'm going to put about a spoon. I rolled the cookies out and rolled them in balls. Took a fork and just pressed down on them. Put them in the oven. Baked them at 350 for about 10 minutes. And here is the finished product. So I just wanted to share this with you and let you know that there are treats that you can eat on this autoimmune solution diet. So it's different, but it is so good. And so I guess I should just have one just to let you know. Very good cookie. The texture is wonderful. The cinnamon taste and the raisin taste is fabulous. So I would say, take it easy, use discipline, eat one or so a day, and just keep living. Until I see you again, have a great